The Utah Jazz News Channel provides in-depth analysis, commentary, and updates on all things related to the Utah Jazz. As the team enters a critical phase of rebuilding, the future of key players like Jordan Clarkson is uncertain. His value to the team, both as a player and a trade asset, is a topic of heated debate among fans and analysts. Should the Jazz hold on to him as a veteran presence, or should they explore trade options while his market value remains relatively high? This article delves into Clarkson's role, his potential trade value, and what the Jazz could do as they navigate the complexities of rebuilding their roster. Jordan Clarkson has been a key figure for the Jazz since his arrival, but his role has evolved significantly. No longer just a sixth man, providing instant offense off the bench, Clarkson has expanded his game, becoming more of a playmaker and even grabbing the occasional rebound. In the 2023-24 season, he averaged 17 points per game and earned the first triple-double the Jazz had seen in over a decade. Despite his offensive capabilities, Clarkson's place on a rebuilding team like the Jazz raises questions about how he fits into their long-term plans. Veteran players like Clarkson can be an odd fit on teams focused on player development and rebuilding. While his scoring ability is undeniable, the Jazz are now a young team looking to grow into a potential championship contender. Clarkson, at 31 years old, might not align with their timeline. His presence in the locker room is valuable for younger players, but the Jazz must weigh whether his on-court contributions are enough to keep him around. Trading Jordan Clarkson presents a complicated challenge. On the surface, his scoring prowess should make him a valuable asset to contending teams. Yet, as the 2023-24 trade deadline passed, Clarkson remained in Utah. This could be due to several factors that limit his market appeal. One of the main concerns for potential suitors is Clarkson's defensive liabilities, standing at just 6'4". He often struggles against bigger, stronger opponents, particularly when defending the perimeter. Teams aiming for a deep playoff run may hesitate to trade for a player who could be targeted by opposing offenses. Beyond defense, Clarkson's contract could also be a hurdle. After signing an extension with the Jazz, Clarkson's salary will drop to $15 million per year for the next 2 seasons. While this is a bargain compared to his $25 million salary in 2023-24, teams still have to consider whether they want to commit that kind of money to a player whose role may be limited. Additionally, Clarkson's injury history raises questions about his durability. He appeared in just 55 games last season, his lowest total since the 2017-18 season. Teams might be reluctant to trade for a player who has struggled to stay healthy. The Danny Ainge factor. Any potential trade involving Jordan Clarkson must also account for the presence of Danny Ainge in the Jazz front office. Known for pulling off blockbuster trades that often leave the other team worse off, Ainge has built a reputation as a shrewd negotiator. This could deter teams from entering trade talks with Utah, especially when dealing with a player like Clarkson, whose value may not be worth the assets Ainge would demand in return. Ainge's history includes trading away aging stars like Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for a treasure trove of future draft picks. The result was a long-term rebuilding process for Brooklyn, while Boston emerged as a contender. Teams may fear that trading for Clarkson could leave them in a similarly weakened position down the road. The Utah Jazz are in a unique position. They are not expected to contend for a championship in the near future, but they have a solid foundation of young players. Clarkson could be a valuable mentor for these younger players, helping them navigate the early stages of their NBA careers. However, the Jazz must also consider the possibility that they could get more value for him through a trade. If the Jazz choose to keep Clarkson, they would benefit from his leadership and offensive production. His presence in the locker room could help foster a positive team culture as the younger players develop. In this scenario, Clarkson would likely continue to play a key role on the court, albeit with the understanding that his defensive limitations could hold the team back in critical moments. On the other hand, trading Clarkson could provide the Jazz with valuable assets that align more closely with their rebuilding timeline. While it's unlikely that they would receive a blockbuster offer, they could still acquire draft picks or young players who fit the team's long-term goals. The key will be finding a trade partner that values Clarkson's offensive capabilities enough to overlook his defensive weaknesses and injury history. For the 2024-25 season, the Jazz should keep their options open. While they shouldn't rush into a trade, they should be prepared to listen to offers, especially from teams looking to add a scorer for a playoff push. At the same time, they must avoid settling for a deal that doesn't bring significant value in return. As Ainge has shown in the past, it's better to wait for the right opportunity than to make a trade just for the sake of making one. The Jordan Clarkson dilemma is emblematic of the challenges facing the Utah Jazz as they navigate their rebuild. Clarkson is a talented scorer and a valuable veteran presence, but his defensive limitations, contract, and injury history complicate his trade value. While keeping him could benefit the Jazz in the short term, they must also consider the long-term benefits of moving him for assets that better fit their future plans. As the team continues to develop its young talent, Clarkson's role with the Jazz will become clearer. Whether he remains a key contributor or becomes part of a trade package, his future in Utah is a critical piece of the puzzle. The Jazz must strike the right balance between maximizing his value and continuing their rebuild, ensuring that they remain on track to become a championship contender in the years to come. For now, the Jazz should keep the phone lines open, listen to offers, and be prepared to make a move if the right deal comes along. Jordan Clarkson still has value, both as a player and a trade asset, but time is of the essence.